We're here today talking with Jeremy Eichenberger about his book, An Odyssey of Oddities. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join and talk about your book.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Scott. I appreciate it.
Let's just start. Give us a kind of an overview or talk a little bit about your book.
Originally, the book kind of started as a journal to my son, because I was living a really chaotic life, and I just kind of assumed that I wouldn't be around to watch him grow up. As sad as that was, the lifestyle I led was not exactly the smartest or safest. So the possibility of losing one's life in that, particular lifestyle was, pretty sensible, I guess, as a possibility. So it wasn't that I didn't care or anything, but I wanted to make sure that if something did happen, that he could kind of rally back to something and realize that, for whatever reason, whatever happened was, not something that he did or, something that he could have controlled. It was decisions that I had made in my past that had led me to that ultimate deal. And, but, as I got older, obviously I'm much older now. So, I was rereading a lot of it, and I thought, well, shoot, man, I can't be the only one out there that had spent years kind of lost and just trying to figure out, where I fit in, what's my role, how can I be a benefit, and so we turned it into a book. And, the goal is to let others know that, doesn't matter where you start. Absolutely has no difference of where you start in life. You can fail, you can fall. What you cannot do is give up or quit. And I mean, that was the big message behind it. It was, hey, look at all these things that had happened to me, and plenty of reasons to give up, plenty of reasons to just throw in the towel. And I just couldn't, man. It just wasn't in me to quit.
Yeah.
So
So
here I am.
what was it like as you're, looking back on these journal entries, that looking through this journal, and you're kind of thinking, I want to share this now. Obviously, you make it through, but in the moment, you didn't know if this was, if you would even be here today. But kind of talk us through the process and how you got it turned into a book, and even, was it kind of an emotional roller coaster for you revisiting some of those journal entries?
Yeah. So the original piece that I had transferred from multiple computers, as I read through it, grammar errors and spelling errors, and you could just kind of tell that it was desperate writing from somebody that had a lot going on and couldn't verbalize it, or didn't feel comfortable sharing that kind of weakness. But a lot of it got scrapped. Like, a lot of the beginning stuff got tossed. There are pertinent points that were taken and brought over to the new one, or the new version. But yeah, I mean, it was a very cathartic experience to write it all out, because I had held on to a lot of pain and regret and all this other stuff that just kind of weighs you down.
Mm-hmm.
And writing it out and reliving it and becoming comfortable with it, and realizing that, these events happened, and not sharing it with somebody is, that's going to be, that could be, or the ability to share it with somebody could give them the hope and, I don't know.
To continue on, to not give up, to see that there is. And we were talking. Yeah, we were talking earlier. I mean, you've gotten through Amazon reviews and just a lot of feedback. I think it is connecting with people, and is helping some of them maybe even be seen or feel like they've been heard through you sharing your story.
Yeah, there's a story in there about a friend of mine who tragically was murdered. And that was kind of one of those events that really changed me because I grew up with a pretty rowdy group of guys, and okay, get put in county jail for the night, fine, have some court fines, probation, whatever. But murdered? No. And I remember that morning like it happened yesterday, and I got this call, and it was like this crushing blow to like my reality, you know, that holy shit, we can actually die.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I made sure to include his story in there. And actually, one of those reviews is from his daughter, and it really made me feel good that she enjoyed it the way I portrayed her father,
Yeah.
who she no longer has. But I felt it was like an obligation of mine to share the real story of him because he was a good person, and what happened to him was a terrible circumstance that a lot of people get involved with. And that's why I started working, in the addiction recovery kind of field now. I've got some mentees, and I work with people on these things because I think that if I had been more educated or open-minded back then, not that I could have saved him, but maybe I could have been a more useful friend and maybe helped redirect, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So there was a lot of survivor's guilt as surrounding that particular scenario. But yeah, I'll reread some chapters. Like there's a chapter in there that talks about my dad, and like, I'm a tough oil and gas guy,
Mm-hmm.
like, but it every single time it brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
Every single time. I'm like, dude, you're in an airport. Like, stop it. Like,
Yeah.
you
Well,
can't.
Jeremy's book, An Odyssey of Oddities, is available. It's available online. We mentioned through Amazon. You read it. You can leave him a review as well. It's available on Barnes and Noble. Available if you like to read through the Kindle app. It's available that way on the Books app through iTunes. An ebook is, I call it the Kindle version, but an ebook version as well. Jeremy, before we end our time, anything else you want to leave us with?
Um, guys, whoever reads this book, I wrote this for everybody. And like I said in the beginning, it's okay to fail, it's okay to fall, but it's not okay to give up. Like, you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. So, um, hopefully it helps some people.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy, thank you for taking time to join us, for share a little bit, and for writing this book. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Bye.